The marketplace air, a mixture of injustice and revenge, justice and violence, seemed to touch my skin, and each word from the man seemed to suffocate my heart. Was the charge the prosecutor had asserted in the trial court ultimately the prey of this man? The reality I encountered in this marketplace felt like the truth missed in court, a puppet of power and a human struggling for survival. Who was the true culprit and who was the victim? Otangs took a step forward. I don't say this man is innocent. He too is a victim of a greater power. We cannot end with simply punishing one man. A true trial must be directed against those behind the scenes. We must target the powers that have taken this forest and slowly stripped the people of their flesh. Her voice was firm and low. Every word carried the weight of steel, and each word caught the crowd's breath. For a moment, a suffocating silence enveloped the marketplace. Faces draped in cloth, leather hung on poles, bound wrists. The silence spread into eyes, and those eyes were no longer focused on a single person. They were aimed at a vast shadow, the heart of power. The murmur grew louder. A middle-aged man spoke softly. Yes, the real guilty ones are up there. We have always been unjustly condemned. As if reading his thoughts, she called out to the crowd. We have not gathered here merely to condemn. We have gathered to ask for the truth and restore justice. She raised a hand, calming the crowd. Her gaze pierced Peter. Peter, you testify. Every scene he had seen in the guerrilla court flashed through his mind. A guerrilla that seemed alive, a man unjustly sacrificed, the firm hands of warriors, and the breathless gaze of the crowd. In an instant, the entire marketplace's gaze was focused on Peter. Faces covered in cloth, piercing eyes, lips tightly pressed together. My heart pounded, my fingertips trembled, and I couldn't even draw a deep breath. The gorilla skin swayed in the wind. The heavy pole, the man's bound wrists and trembling knees, her gaze held a weight beyond a simple command. The demand to reveal the truth, the weight of upholding both justice and responsibility. With the crowd's eyes fixed on him, Peter faced a choice. Would he testify or remain silent? His heart pounded with a burning resolve. The entire marketplace shook like a quiet storm. Even the wind seemed to have stopped, and in that momentary silence, Peter's inner thoughts, the crowd, the gorilla, the warrior, and the man's sense of injustice entangled, leaving him breathless. I saw it in the guerrilla court. The oppressors chained us to the courtroom, the government and corrupt police at the mercy of foreign powers. Prosecutors who were subservient to foreign powers. The truth was manipulated and ignored, while the photos, articles, and reports that supported it. Their brains were already brainwashed, their judgment blurred. The disguised justice that has controlled and oppressed us must disappear. Now I will speak here, not with words, but with actions. This man is innocent. Otangs raised a hand to calm the crowd, which continued to chant. Her eyes turned to Peter. Good. Now you have proven to the public that you are on our side. Peter breathed a sigh of relief, but also felt the weight of the camera in his hand. This weight wasn't just the weight of iron. It was the weight of the vested interests he had relinquished, the weight of the responsibility he had to bear. The people's trial didn't end with punishment, she said as she released the man. We do not punish individuals. We must fight together to change the constitution and the power structure. Only then will our justice blossom. When the crowd's cheers had momentarily subsided, an old man stepped forward, leaning on his cane. In the dim light of dust and smoke, his cane struck the pole twice, 3 times. Please stop. A hoarse voice cut through the air. She raised her head. The old man's eyes were as deep as wet. Charcoal and a weariness she'd seen everywhere was evident. Why must the world tear us apart like this? Who is right? Who is guilty? Aren't we all of the same blood? All my life, I've seen people talk about justice, but that justice has never saved anyone. Her fingertips trembled slightly. Before her, someone had thrown a hunting spear. It was no longer the beasts. The old man continued. Democracy or justice, the name doesn't matter. If people don't recognize people, tomorrow, someone else will be tied up in this position. At that moment, Otangs realized she wasn't someone standing on trial, but another face being judged. Things long buried in the grave stirred within her. It was the memory of oppression, the guilt of silence. The old man spoke for the last time. Now we must live together. The forest and the people, we must all breathe together. His voice was cracked by time, but each word held a lingering resentment. I have accepted her words of restructuring the power structure in my own way. I believe a cabinet system is our only way to survive. We must prevent the long-term dictatorship of one man and unite the two divided nations into their own federation. Only then can our forests, our gorillas, and our descendants live in peace. We have been silent for too long. That silence. Dictatorship has taken root within us, and the forest has been cut down. Now we must protect the market, the village, and the forest ourselves. We can no longer rely on anyone else's mercy. As he finished speaking, the murmurings in the crowd grew louder. Some young people nodded and clenched their fists. Federalism, cabinet system, down with dictatorship, securing democracy. As if years of suppressed anger had burst forth, tearing through cracks. The market was no longer a place to buy and sell goods. That day, the wholesale market transformed into a square, where anger and determination were traded. Part 7. The Blackwood Coffin in the Central Market. Quickening footsteps, Peter, normally far from a prayer-loving man, found himself unable to even breathe properly when he saw the body of Hortense lying bleeding in the sanctuary. He knelt on the cold floor and clasped his trembling hands. The chill of the sanctuary seeped into his bones, and the air still reeked of blood. His gaze fell upon her face. Those eyes, once filled with a playful smile, were now coldly closed and soaked in blood. Deep in his heart, Peter held the responsibility and promise she had left behind. He believed in her, followed her. He must show her that her faith and efforts were not in vain. Catching his breath, his voice trembled. Lord, do not let this death be in vain. At that moment, a strange silence fell over the sanctuary. May this woman's blood become the foundation for the people's uprising. Power took this woman's life with a gun, but bullets couldn't erase the name of the Hortense flower. We lived in fear, we breathed in lies, but in the face of this death, we desire to be truthful. He closed his eyes and prayed more deeply. Peter's emergency call. Dawn. Peter lowered his voice on the phone, but that lowness was closer to hushed anger. Min Keol, Hortense has been attacked. We're not even sure if she's still alive. The silence stretched on the other end of the line. Kim Minchell's breathing ragged. What? If that's true, we're all finished. Peter closed his eyes, caught his breath, and spoke softly. The end, Minchell. No, this is the beginning. If her blood has fallen to the ground, it's not death, but the flame that awakens us. Minchell's hands trembled. Fire? Are you trying to incite people with words like that? We've always been the ones shedding blood. Even with guns, imprisoned and buried in graves, all that's left is a corpse or a prison. One of the two. His breathing was ragged, as if on the verge of death. Even the night air felt cold as metal. Peter didn't back down, but spoke in a low, sharp voice. Will it end with just one Hortense? Everyone will soon be arrested. Tomorrow, people will forget, and will once again become useless tools, paving the way with blood. I know. You could be in danger. A brief silence. Then Kim Minchell's low, cold words. You've always held out with loud voices. But this time, don't forget that I'm risking my life for your words. Minchell pressed the receiver firmly with his palm. His heart pounded, and his mind was a jumble of graves. Prisons, blood, and despair. Good. This time, we'll go all the way. A cool smile spread across Peter's lips. That's why we must fight. Even in the face of death, the choice is ours. Gather as many as possible and come to Yaoundé. Meet me at the underground hideout as soon as we arrive. We must rebuild this fight from there. Kim Minchell didn't respond easily. Peter added firmly, if we don't bear witness to her death, this fight will never end. We will simply become a gathering of scattered people. But as soon as those words left his lips, Peter realized his own contradiction. Rebuilding a broken solidarity was like forcibly mending a rift. Perhaps that rift would only bleed again and never heal smoothly. Kim Minchell's low voice returned. Nay, good, I'll go. But you might be the only one who believes that the solidarity you spoke of still exists. When the phone stopped ringing, the room fell into complete silence. In that silence, the two men's resolve filled the room like living blood, cruel and fatal. Peter couldn't answer. Cold raindrops pounded against the window. The sound echoed in his ears, mocking his obsession with shattered ideals and irreparable solidarity. It was early morning. Peter hurriedly knocked on the shutter of the Capital Intersection Photo Studio, looking for Yoon Tae-ho. "Tae-ho!" Peter gasped, gasping for breath. Oh Ten's dead murdered Kim Min-chol, Yaounde.